We're back, everyone, and we are going to talk about the fact that Chad Daybell, the Doomsday Dad, husband, father, whether or not he's going to receive the death penalty. Chad Daybell is a doomsday prophet coming out of Rexburg, Idaho. In fact, he lived in Rexburg or Salem, Idaho, with his wife, Tammy, and several of his kids, but he has 5 children. And on this property, he had a portal in which he dealt with the zombies of this world. Stick around for more on this crazy story. His wife, Tammy, died of suspicious circumstances. They found 2 young children buried on his property. He was the leader of the End Days, the 144,000, along with his special goddess wife, Lori Vallow. Chad had warnings for us to beware of earthquakes, famine, war, and invasion on our own property. So let's learn a little bit more about the death penalty in the state of Idaho. The death penalty was actually established in 1864. There has been a total of 29 executions. Just recently, the Idaho House overwhelmingly passed a bill that would allow the death penalty for anyone convicted of certain X crimes against preteens. In 1972, execution was actually halted a few years until 1976. 1973, they adopted a new capital law since they had people already on death row. In 2012, Richard Levitt was executed. In 2023, the state legislators legalized a firing squad. And why did they do this? Well, it was because they had concerns about the lethal injection. They were having trouble actually penetrating the veins of one guy. So I didn't have time to do more research on that. Chad Daybell fits a lot of the aggravating factors to qualify for the death penalty. And right now, the jury in Ada County, Idaho, are actually deliberating whether or not to impose the death penalty for Chad Daybell. Originally, his doomsday lover, Lori Vallow, was supposed to get the death penalty, but the prosecutors messed up. So that was taken off the table. We believe that that was probably done on purpose. But a lot of people believe, is it fair that Chad Daybell gets the death penalty and Lori doesn't? The court process hasn't been very easy with these cases. Well, neither of these cases. So anyways, let's see here. So the jury members, they will deliberate. And if not everyone agrees that Chad should be put to death, then he will just serve life in prison. Several people have said that they're kind of expecting that and that they think that's a better option anyway. I'm not too certain. See, I think he should. He needs to be set an example of. Besides, by the time that they go through all the appeals process and everything, he will probably have died of natural causes anyway. It's been said that it takes decades sometimes. So say Chad gets the death penalty. Well, the Idaho Supreme Court automatically reviews this death penalty sentence. This is not including to up to 3 appeals he gets. A lot of people believe that if Chad doesn't get the death penalty and then he's put into the general population, which he won't be, people on the inside is going to take care of it. But I don't think that's the case anymore. These are different times. People aren't like they used to be. It seems that Lori Vallow's thriving so far in her jail and prison time. Oh my gosh, last time we seen her in court, she was shining like a bright beam of sunshine. And I was like, somebody needs to take away that oxygen and stop that from shining. Lori Vallow's looking like she's having too much fun. And That is not what I'm wanting to see. I don't know about you. I mean, they ripped away 4 people's life, their time here on earth, which is already short. And here they are, Lori and Chad, their doomsday goddesses that they are, smiling and thriving. I've been losing my patience lately, and I've been pretty patient. I don't want to see people like this enjoying their life. They shouldn't be enjoying anything. The purpose of being punished for murdering people is to make your life miserable, not put you up in a hotel. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the statements we heard yesterday. There were several statements, and I think probably the most emotional statements for me, the ones that I know that knew Tylee, who knew JJ personally and was in their lives all the time, was Kay Woodcock, of course, right? And then you had the Douglas family, all the siblings. We finally got to hear something from them. And wow, you know, we can guess how destroyed their lives are from this chaotic case. But it was much worse than you can imagine. And to me, they need to be suing Chad to get that insurance money back. If you have to, sue your nieces and nephews for it. They need a wake-up call anyway. I guess that's a bit harsh, but I'm just so upset with the kids for not defending their mother. Interestingly, everybody's talking about the fact that the kids did not speak right before the jury went in deliberation for the death penalty for Chad Daybell. Maybe Chad finally said, you know, what I've been doing is selfish. What I'm putting these kids through, it's affecting their lives for over 4 years. I'm not going to do it. Maybe Pryor said, you know, Chad, you know, you're a selfish man. Don't make your kids do this. Besides that, watching Pryor yesterday, I didn't think he was going to make it through. I think it's been tough for him to be Chad Daybell's defending attorney. We heard him in court say things that we might have been shocked about, like he murdered, or not him, but other people murdered these people. Maybe this was a tactic for Chad to be certain that he can get an appeal or some other, defense tactic that he might have in mind. This is where it pays to be an attorney when you're covering these cases. I forgot to cover this part of the death penalty that we were talking about. And the fact is, once he has exalted all of his appeals, there is a death warrant sent out, and then he must be executed, I think, within 30 days. So, anyways, again, it's bad. It's sad for the children. But also, who needs somebody like this in your life destroying it? Look at where the kids are. He has taken away everything. Their mom, their life, their friends, their family. And he doesn't seem to learn his lesson. He doesn't know when enough is enough. I wanted to go over a few subscriber comments because Diva's yelling at me. So I need to do this. I'm teasing you, girl. I love you, and you wanted me to see it because it's hard to see everything. The beginning of this video is the best thing ever. Why? It's Lindsay giving her rebuttal on Pryor's closing. Lindsay starts with page 18 instructions. Every point on the instructions 18, Chad is guilty of. Debbie, listen to the very beginning of this video. Instructions 18 that Lindsay reads makes Chad guilty of every point. One thing that is extremely important, and I keep commenting this, and it's that We all want the worst punishment for this evil Chad Daybell. And we think that the worst punishment is the death penalty. But it's not the worst punishment at all. Here's why. The average prisoner on death row will be there for about 20 years. On death row, you never see another inmate, and you get a computer, a television, and there are perks when you're on death row. At the Indiana State Prison, which is a hardcore prison, prisoners on death row now get to have a cat. Yes, you heard that right, a kitty cat. So they can take care of it and bond and have what I consider something wonderful. The worst punishment is to put Chad in the general population. Give him life in prison without the possibility of any parole, of course, and he will endure the most hellish, torturous, world he has ever had to deal with. Inmates will know within 24 hours why Chad is there. Believe me, they have the whole system there. They will know, and the common name for someone like Chad is not worth saying right now. But the inmates will take care of Chad, and what I do mean take care of Chad, well, they'll beat the crap out of him anytime they want. Several people will turn him into their sex slave. Can you see it? Little baby cowardly Chad being completely roughed up and having to be molested to these inmates that will own him, literally own him. I think that those of us that have been watching this case, a lot of people think, yeah, give him the death penalty, but think twice. On death row, there is no other inmates that you have to face, but put Chad in general population for life, he'll only wish that he could go to hell because that would be better. Really, it would be better. Now, another thing is Mormons believe that when a man dies, he inherits a planet and that he will be the god of that planet. And with all of Chad's ridiculous offshoots of the LDS, why is he afraid of death anyways? According to his beliefs, there is no fear of death. It's just another probation. So, the whole thing of him trying not to get the death penalty really is stupid. I would be begging for the death penalty if I was Mr. Potato Head Chad. Wasn't it odd to hear his daughter talk? She talks just like him. Monotone, dull, no emotion in her voice or in his son's voice. They're like mini Chads. Anyways, take care, Debbie. Thank you so much. I really appreciate what you've been doing. Okay, so I feel a lot of emotion in this and a lot of concern. So one thing that you can say about Chad being or seeming to be afraid of death is he spent a lot of time in the cemetery and probably, realizing that out of all the people that were there wasn't that many ghosts. He's seen ghosts, but did he really? Remember when he had to put these cremated remains in with another set of cremated remains, and how he kind of thought about when Jesus returned and he has called on his people to rise? He's trying to envision how all these ashes and bones that are mixed together, that he mixed together, are going to be able to get back to their own individual selves. So that's his thought process. He's not able to understand if, God were to return and he was to call them up from the dead. Well, number one, that's crazy magical in itself, that just because he's mixed these cremated remains together, they're not going to be like a game of Twister as he had mentioned. That right there gave you the idea of his mindset and how he thinks. It's kind of wicked and it's odd. Chad Daybell lives in a fantasy world. Nothing has ever been a reality. His books are proof of that he inserts people he knows, names that he's familiar with. As for, you made a good point about the death penalty, but still, he most likely wouldn't get it. But I just wanted him to be afraid of dying, just like the victims. But maybe he's getting that fear right now as he awaits the verdict. As for his kids, well, they are Chad Daybell's children, and they were very much like him. And I bet it may just take them a while to soul search and learn, what it's like to be a true person of God and what it's like to live in a honest reality. Will they ever get there? Well, I hope so. But yeah, Emma is a spitting image of Daddy. And I knew this from my research several years ago when I started looking at her comments and kind of the drama that they were involved in. I never could figure out her intentions of wanting to be involved in all that, whether she was just trying to be part of something or be supportive, or maybe she enjoyed it. You made a lot of good points. I'm going to go ahead and close out now, guys, and share your thoughts below. Do you think Chad Daybell is scared to death? Do you think Chad Daybell believes in all this stuff he's teaching? Don't forget about our missing girls here. And also, I uploaded a video yesterday. It has an Easter egg. See if you can find it. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.